right. Now, being a person who's familiar with Christian music, if you've ever been a person, who's listened to a lot of gospel music, or if you were in the church, some of these churches like Pentecostal and holiness churches and some of these more extremist type churches, they have, when I was a teenager, I got involved with some of these churches and hanging out with some people that went to churches that it's just like, if you're a Christian, you got to be into sanctification. It's the holiness movement. If you're going to be a Christian and be with the Lord and live for the Lord, you got to be a Christian and be sold out to Jesus, completely sold out to God. And if you're sold out to God, you get rid of your secular music. You quit smoking, you quit drinking, and you get rid of your secular music, and you listen to gospel music only, which includes Christian rock music or whatever. And the problem with that, God doesn't put those restrictions on people because, there's nothing wrong with good, clean, secular music if you're a Christian, there are secular singers. Even Alice Cooper became a Christian, and there are secular singers. Basically, the point, if you listen to too much gospel music, it'll lose its effectiveness because you'll get, I guess, what they call dull of hearing. You get dull of hearing, you hear the gospel music so much that your mind begins to think of other things to think about while you're listening to gospel music. Just like if you listen to a sermon too long, your mind wanders, It loses its effectiveness, and you get so used to listening to that gospel music, it doesn't affect you anymore. It's like a drug that you just get immune to it, And if you listen to too much gospel music, your mind can become immune to it by just listening to nothing but gospel music every time you listen to music. So I would recommend a person that's a Christian to not listen to gospel only. I would just listen to gospel music when you want to think about God and want to think about spiritual things. But I would have if you're a Christian, I would have some good, clean, secular music. I would have some good, clean, secular music. There's plenty of good non-religious singers. There's nothing wrong with entertainment. But these extremist type of churches, they'll tell the teenagers and young people, you don't need to listen to secular music. You don't need to listen to Justin Bieber. That Justin Bieber is music of the devil. You need to listen to gospel music. You need to listen to the quartet, the gospel quartet. And there's nothing wrong with the gospel quartets and all this stuff. But you listen to nothing but gospel music all the time, what's going to happen is your mind's going to become dull of hearing. You're going to become immune to it. It's going to become like elevator music to you. So I would recommend a person to not do that because you don't want your mind to be dull of hearing too much gospel music. Just like if you sit around listening to too many sermons, but you don't, you listen to too much of that stuff and your mind starts to go in one ear and out the other. That stuff just starts to soak in, go in one ear and out the other, your mind becomes immune to it. You need a diversion from it to get away from it for a while so you can be ready to listen to it later. You don't want your mind to become dull of hearing. So that's my opinion. For what it's worth, I've been into the Pentecostal movement. I've been into the holiness movement. I've been into the strict independent Baptist movement. I've been with these strict independent people and these strict churches and stuff, and they're all about, they say, sold out to God, completely sold out to Jesus, and all this. But, I can say I disagree with them about this, but, it's more about people focus on the kind of clothes you wear. Back when guys really had long hair and when it's metal, heavy metal, you need to cut your hair, girls, you need to put a skirt on, just quit wearing so much makeup, things that have to do with the outer body and stuff like that. The main thing that's wicked about man is not the clothes he wears, but the main thing that makes man wicked, and definitely wicked, is really thinking I'm perfect and I can do no wrong and I can, they won't accept the blame for anything and won't admit wrong and accept the blame for anything. We've got to humble ourselves and admit we're wrong. we got to all humble ourselves and admit we all have the capacity for evil. We all have the capacity for evil. You know, just like that song of INXS, you know, devil inside. Every one of us, you know, the devil inside. So we've all got the devil inside. We all got the tendency to do evil. And if we all admit that we have the ability to do evil, you know, none of us are so sold after God and completely spirit-filled that we're incapable of backsliding or doing evil. All of us can do evil. We need to humble ourselves and admit that we can do evil. I'm capable of sinning as much as anyone else. So that's my thing, my religious rant for today. What do you think? We'll see you on the next one. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.